Hello, Ellie's Studio fans. This is Patricia Roebuck. I am excited to be here and show you my stamping process of using some of the August goodies this month to create my stamped background. I'm using the brand new back to school stamp set here. And what I did is I have a blue sticky pad, just a regular Post-it note pad. And I stamped, it is in another blue ink, so that's why it looks the same. But I did stamp in a blue ink and then just detail cut several of those larger apples out. You'll see later I also did the same thing with the smaller apples. For now, I want to focus on this one solid traveler's notebook page. I'm inspired by everything, and I got this little flyer in the mail from Old Navy, and the graphic look of it and the colors really inspired me for school. It had some brights, but it had kind of a fallish color. So I'm going to use that as inspiration for my stamping colors here. Now I'm just doing a basic stamp of one solid color there, and then I'm going to come back with a darker color ink. But you'll see I am inking just around the edges, and I'm tapping. I'm not pressing. I'm just tap, tap, tap. I'll lift it up here on an angle so hopefully you can see I'm not pressing the entire image into it. I'm just rolling it around the edges. And you can get as much ink on there as you want or as little as you want. Now an ink or a stamping tool is ideal for this. And that's what I actually normally use, but I wanted to show you it is possible, especially with these acrylic stamps. In an image like this, it's easy to line it up and get an impression over it. Now you saw earlier, I use a white eraser to prime my stamps, and I am constantly checking. If you noticed, I inked that blue ink on there and it beaded up a bit. I just ran my eraser over it again just to make sure. It might have still been a little wet or whatever, but I really like a nice crisp image. That yellow apple is going to be the one that's in the forefront, and that's starting it. There will be other apples that will be in the forefront as I continue masking, but that one really is going to be the one that's going to be in the forefront. And my thought behind this is I'm going to have the apples stacked vertically on top of each other. So I'm just going to keep going and up either on the underneath or on top of it and just kind of space them out and see how I want them. Now you can experiment too with your inks. You can start, like here I started with the darker color and I'm using a lighter color, but I'm mixing it. So I started with the yellow around the edges and then I went to the brown. That gives it an even prettier shading. And then I'm even going over it again to create a little bit darker. So that's the beauty of the acrylic stamps and being able to see, especially if you don't have a stamping tool, is you really can stamp over them again. And so I'm just going to continue to create that vertical look and use the little masks that I've created from the Post-it notes. Now, as you play with your different inks, most of the inks that I've used are nice contrast to the other ink. But sometimes you can select inks that will create a different color. And you'll see that in a little bit. So if the inks that you have, you don't have a huge supply of them, think about the colors that you have and think about how you can combine them to create other colors. And this is a great way to do that. Now, if you do what I did earlier, if you use a lighter color to ink an image and then you use another ink pad without cleaning it off, just be sure to always start with the lighter ink pad and then go to the darker ink pad and not vice versa. If you go from the dark ink pad and then directly ink it up with the lighter ink pad, you'll contaminate your lighter ink pad. So I'm going to continue just building this up, and what my idea is I want to have the apples stacked on top of each other, going vertically along this traveler's notebook spread here, and I want to have that to be the start of my base of my title and subtitle. Now I'm going to do one more apple, I believe, at the very top, and this is where you will see the color change. I'm going to start with the yellow, and then I'm going to ink the edges to go on top with blue. And that yellow and blue are going to make green. So I'm not going to see the blue. So that is a nice little trick that you can use to combine your inks if you needed more colors. And even though that wasn't part of my color palette, I kind of like the green with it because there's some brights and there's some fall colors, and I just think that's a really nice little pop there because my photo does have a little bit of green in it, and that'll create a balance with the right side when I have the photo there. Now you can really have some more fun with the masking because now I can use the smaller apple. I have the large mask in place over the apples, and I did the same thing. I stamped in one color, cleaned it off, and then inked the edges and stamped directly on top. And now I'm creating even more images from that back to school stamp set that are going to be in the background of the apples. I'm doing the stars, and I did the outline stars, I did the solid stars. I really, really, really love how this is looking. It really, to me, has that theme of school with all those images peeking out from behind the apples. My favorite, though, I have to say, I didn't even intend to use it, but I was really, really having fun with this and enjoying how it was coming out. And I went ahead and stamped using the pencil. So that really was cool because then the pencil looks like it's coming out from different areas of the apple. Depending on where my masks are placed, if I have a lot of masks like here, it's going to look like it's coming out from underneath those apples, whereas on that one that I stamped up there, you can kind of see it overlap one of the apples. So you can really create a lot of fun looks creating the mask like this. So I'm just going to continue to fill this up with some more of the stamp images. And I love the stars. I think it creates a lot more color, a lot more fun with the layering look to this as well. So this is really pretty much flat, and I have quite a bit of layers going on already just because of the stamp images and the ink colors that I've selected. So once I have all that done, I'm going to start adding some dimension with creating my title. I want to use the new puffy alpha stickers. They have the notebook paper look to them, which I just think is awesome. And speaking of awesome, I'm going to go with the title Rockstar. I think that is just perfect for back to school. But before I finish that up, I do want to add the back to school sentiment from the back to school stamp set. But with so much color with those apples, in order for that to really, really pop, now I could use a stamping tool, which would be better because then you know for sure you can repeat the black ink over and over and over to get it really bold. But in this case, if you don't, embossing is the way to go. So I did some black embossing powder on top of that. You could use like a Versamark ink pad. I have an older ink pad, but mine was starting to get a little dry, but it worked out just fine. And the black embossing just really will pop and shine. And then I can finish up the rock star sentiment and title right there. Okay, now I want to start creating some balance to my right side. So I'll go ahead and get my page protectors in place. There's the full page for that side. The other side is going to have two 3x4 pockets. I want to use one of the August kit tags for the top pocket and the photo to fill the bottom pocket. Now at first I was thinking of not adding a photo to my large stamped background, but I had that photo and I thought it was adorable for that because it actually says the grade that she's going into, and it was the night of stop and drop at the school. So I went ahead and added that there. Now, inspired by the left side colors, I'm using the small apple to create a little cluster of stamping, and I'm using the little small mask that I created with the sticky pad. And I'm doing the same thing, but I'm trying to pick up the colors for sure that are from the left side so that I can create the balance. But I stamp them, and then I go again and ink the edges and then stamp again on top, just like what I did, the same exact technique that I did on the left side. I'm going to keep building that because I really did like the look of the left side, and I have quite a bit of white space, and then this tag that I selected is pretty white as well. So I do want to have a little bit of pop of color. And I will send this tag through my typewriter to add my journaling, which is great with having the stamping in place because I can have that and it's flat. There's no dimension. And you can see here that I've went ahead and sent it through my typewriter because I know that I have that little left corner done. And now I'm going to do my date, which I am addicted to this. I did this format, this vertical format of dating with the mini dated stamp set. So what I did is I did 8 and then I did a star from back to school set and then I finished it off with the 2018. I love that vertical look, and that vertical look really complements the vertical design on the left. So I'm repeating that same look on the left. So I'm just going to finish that up now that I have the date. I did have enough room to add another stamp to that little corner there. And with this being school, back to school, and you're cool, and especially with the title of rock star, I have got to add these glasses that are available this month. But I'm not sure whether to use the red or the pink. I ended up with the pink because I really did not have any red in this spread. I really had more of the brighter pink or red violet kind of color. Both would have gone well, but I did end up with the pink. Now I'm just going to add some of the die cuts from the August kit, and then I'm going to use some of the word stickers available and the puffy stickers. I'm going to create a little cluster here. I don't have the best photos, and what I think I love most about this spread is I have the white space with the pops of color, lots of layers, but it enhances these photos that are not really the best quality. So I love that about the Elle Studios products. Now I'm going to create another vertical look by using one of the word stickers there on that tag. And then I'm just going to finish this up with some of the puffy accents from the back to school set available. And that will finish this up. I hope this really gives you a great idea of how to create a back to school spread for your next project. Thank you so much for watching.